If you knew that one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality, would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Hello, and welcome everyone. Happy Monday. It is the most magnificent Monday of December 7th, to be exact, and we're celebrating every day as it comes. As we see that the year 2020 has been interesting, we're going to dive right into the Crossroads to Awakening, which is where we're at right in this very moment. Those pathways that lead you somewhere else. So my name is Wendy Paquette. I am a holographic mind reprogrammer, and I support humans to see themselves at their crossroads to their own awakening and make choices to choose paths that will enlighten their life and change the things that are in the way. And it all begins with all those beautiful little programs in your mind, and those can easily be changed when you see your reality for what it truly is. So, welcome and let's get started. Today, I'm really excited. Today's episode is going to speak right into what about getting it right? Right? What about getting it right? What about getting it right? How many of us spend our whole lives trying to get it right? And in the same moment, experience ourselves disappointed because our expectation or our understanding of what our right looks like is where we get it wrong, right? We begin judging ourselves right from the very instance that comes out of our brains and out of our minds and out of our mouths of getting it right. We've already gotten it wrong, and now we're standing in a place of disappointment, and we're infusing all the disappointment energy into everything that's coming after that moment. So what I would love to share with you today is what it could look like differently. Like, how would my life look if I was better at getting life right? If that was even possible. And who cares anyway? Right? Who actually cares about whether where I'm getting my life right or whether it looks right to someone else? So what I have for you are 5 questions that we get to ask when you feel like you're not getting life right. So we're going to dive into those and see what they look like and how they feel and how we can ask them and how to receive responses from ourselves, how we can make this reality and our asking questions of ourselves work for us in a way that we don't look outside of ourselves for something. We actually realize that we have the answers all along. And maybe getting it right is just a fragment of a thought to set us up to get it wrong. How interesting is that? Right? So now that word stuck in my head, right. We say it all the flipping time, which is why we lean into it so often. So let's get started. What we get to lean into first is, what does getting it right mean for you? What does getting it right mean for you? So for me, to utilize an example, getting it right is deciding that something I want must look a certain way. And I must have it look that way. And if it doesn't look like that, whatever in my head I have it look like, then I'm getting it wrong. So let's just say I would like my business to grow. I like it to grow into the space where I have hundreds of clients and I generate X amount of dollars. And it has to look like me enrolling them into a program and then me getting out there and maybe have to, speak at certain things. It's going to look like the traditional business looks when I lean into like business coaches and what they say to do. And I could look at YouTube videos, and what they say is get out there and share it and enroll people into your program. So I guess it looks like me enrolling a whole bunch of people into my program, and I want thousands of people. So now I'm already confusing myself with what it is going to look like. So note to self, right? Well, I want to support thousands of people. I get to enroll so many people into my program. And from according to the coaches, I get to be out there in the world somehow, maybe on Facebook or on social media, and invite people into my program. And that's what it must look like in order for me to get clients. Now, as convoluted as that sounds, that's our mind speaking to us. We need to get it this way, and in order to get clients, it must be this way, and it has to follow a formula, and it has to be because someone said so. And where am I in the process? What feels good for me? And how do I make that right or wrong? Because yes, we all get to generate clients or possibilities with a business. And yes, we all get to thrive in a business. And yes, we all get to generate. But when I'm in my head deciding what I must do to get it right in order to generate, I'm setting myself up for some big roadblocks because I'm not leaving space for what's possible. I'm not leaving the opportunity open to the energies of my world, the universe, whatever you'd like to call it, in order to source what I'm after, because I've already set the container. This is what it must look like. And so therefore, if I'm setting a confusing container, then it must look confusing and crazy in order for me to get there. And I'm already looking at that going, I can't get that right because I don't understand it and I don't know what it looks like and I'm missing details. And if other people are doing it, that's all I'm seeing. So they're doing it somehow. So I must be doing it wrong. Right? We haven't even gotten out of the gate yet. And I've already set myself up to lose and get it wrong because where are the clients coming from when my head is in the space of confusion and trying to get it right? I haven't even put pen to paper to do anything else. So that's the number one thing with where we go with our heads, to notice what are we actually saying in our heads before we sit down to create something for ourselves and have it. Right? Where are we getting confused before we even started? So that brings you into your vision space. And we can go there as well. But I wanted you to see what it looks like, what our heads go through, what our minds go through when we're trying to get it right. We start out one foot in front of the other, already making an absolute mess of where we're headed because we are in our heads instead of in our hearts, and starting with us. And what are we really looking to create for others? So that one main point I'd like to land in this space is, yes, you can create chaos in your head, and yes, you will live into that. And yes, you'll already have gotten it wrong because you've decided that that chaos is what it must look like. We get to pull you back in and have you start from the beginning, which is your vision. It's your vision. What am I looking to create in the world that will serve and support someone else? Because all you get to look at is one person, because one person is all it takes in order to serve them. And one person is all it takes in order to create that one person into multiple people, tens, hundreds, thousands, multi-thousands. But it starts with one. First person is you, looking at your vision, what you'd like to create, and what problem you'd like to solve in the world. And then have one person and solve it for them, starting with your vision. And then moving forward into the space of now seeing from almost a reverse engineered space of, okay, what could that look like? So now we're beginning to get clarity. So the number one question that I utilize in order to support myself when I feel like I'm not getting life right, when I'm in that chaos space of nothing looks the same and I'm leaning into confusion, is what am I pretending not to know? When I lean into all the confusion of creating it and getting it right, I'm feeling horrible in my heart because I know I'm doing something wrong because I don't have any clients. Say, you're after clients and you're not generating any. You're already judging yourself, thinking you're getting it wrong. And your head's in a chaotic space and you haven't started from vision. And so you're starting off in a space of almost negativity because you're down on yourself already. Number one thing I ask myself is, what am I pretending not to know right now? And a couple of those things are really, when you actually ask yourself, are really obvious. I'm pretending to not know that there is a linear equation in my mind that I've already set up and I don't understand it. So I get to get clarity. So I'm pretending that I know with clarity and I don't, right? I'm leaning into that space of chaos. What am I pretending not to know about who my clients might be? Right? Are they women? Are they men? That's where if you're a business coach or you're in business, you're looking at, what is your psychographic, right? Who are they? Where do they come from? What am I pretending not to know about the reality of my business? Is it possible for me to have 100 clients? Is that truly possible? Or am I just pie in the skying myself into reality? Maybe I start with 1 client and then I move to 5 and then I move to 10 to see if, I get the space or I have the space in order to serve them fully. So what am I pretending not to know? That's the question. What am I pretending not to know? And what am I pretending not to know about myself? Right? A lot of us question our capabilities because we think we want something. We want to be a coach. We want to be this. We want to be that in our world. And we'll say it out loud and then we'll judge ourselves for not having it. But part of the piece is, what are we pretending not to know about our knowledge, in our expertise in that area, so that we can serve someone? So that comes back down to your vision, falling right back into that same space. Who am I serving and what problem am I solving? Right? And then walking forward, because what am I pretending not to know will really show you the gaps there. I often find clients that I work with will be in the space of wanting this really huge vision and going after it, and then falling into the trap of feeling like they got to hold the whole container open, and they've forgotten why they started. They've forgotten what their vision was, and that is the only thing that they forgot. So what they're pretending not to know is the reason why they're there, the reason why they're serving another human or other humans. So that's the number 1 question I have for myself. And we're leaning into what's possible for you so that you can get it right. There's no such thing as right or wrong when it comes to this. There is a place of grace where your intention is to lean into possibilities and create for yourself, which looks like success and can be deemed as success, but it's also a space of clarity. Clarity. There's no right or wrong. There's a driven, beautiful mission that you like to achieve, and it's on the journey of your life, right? It's on the journey. So it doesn't have to happen overnight. It gets to be a journey. And so on that journey, we get to ask these powerful questions. What am I pretending not to know, right? About what I really want with my business. The second is, what's missing here? What's missing here, right? So I want 10 clients and I'm a coach and I know I can coach. I've been supporting as a coach. I know it's possible. I help people all the time. Like, you could be that example. I help people all the time. I know I can coach them. And I'm an expert in Google Documents. That's my zone of genius. I could support them, coaching them into organization or possibilities when it comes to setting up their business. Now, what's missing here? Well, potentially that will bring up all the other things that you're finally getting to see is, well, what's missing here is I don't have an audience to speak to. Or I don't even know if that's what they need. I'm assuming that's what they need, but I don't really know if that's what they need. And or what if my clients are already getting served somewhere else and this is something that I'm reinventing the wheel? There's no uniqueness in what I'm up to. Right? So what's missing here? What's missing could be your uniqueness in what you're selling. Maybe it's Google Documents to spiritual humans who are on a journey to create a business that is wildly successful. Right? Maybe we didn't have that language before. So you have to lean into that space of what's missing here? That's the second question. And we're going to lean into all these questions and have examples on our own. When you ask these questions, if you give yourself the opportunity to get really clean about what you want, because getting your life right isn't possible unless you are open to receiving new information and being an allowance of the journey. Right? So there's no getting it right. That's the secret to this whole episode. There is no getting it right. There's only getting it. There's only having it. There's walking into the room and having it over getting it right. It's never going to look like what you think it's going to look like. Just like the crazy container that your mind might be creating for you that you can't understand, but you're hoping with all your heart that you get what other successful people have. Right? So it feels like a very analytical space that we're in today with this conversation, but it was a lot of what was coming up for many people in my world about getting their life right and getting stuck in that space of being like self-righteous in their own reality for themselves. It's going to look like this. It must look like this. If it doesn't look like this, then I'm getting it wrong. And then not moving from that space. Very stuck place to be. So we're going to hop into a commercial break. And while we're in there, you get to ask yourself those powerful questions like, first of all, what am I pretending not to know about what I want? And what's missing here in this conversation that's going on in my head? Because that's where all of this stuff begins in your mind, right? From the space of time where you're going, okay, I'm stepping into my life now. So I guess I'm creating a business. And how come it's not working for me? It goes to all the crazy places. So let's walk into a break. And while you're on this short moment, I want you to think about those questions. What do I want? What am I pretending not to know about what I want? And what's missing here? And watch what comes up for you. Asking yourself those questions will create a space of understanding, which leads to clarity. And just sit with it for a moment. So we'll walk right into a break. I'm Wendy Paquette, and this is the Crossroads to Awakening show, and we will be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Crossroads to Awakening show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now back to the program.
Okay, everyone, we're back again. I feel like it's such a heavy space, and I'm connecting into the energies of the thought processes around the globe where people are stuck in the space of lack of clarity, right? Needing to get it right. And with the state of the world these days, it's 100% the place where people are at because they're looking for a wrongness. They're looking for something that's wrong in order to get it right. And this episode is all about knowing that there is no getting it right. There's just getting it. This is having it, choosing it, and creating from the space of possibility over holding yourself in a duality of getting it right. Because if you can get it right, you can also get it wrong. And unfortunately, humans are in that space where they would listen to something that was said to them that was bad about themselves. Maybe they're receiving some feedback about their personality or their way of being, and it's bad. They'll listen to that over if someone were to offer them a beautiful compliment about their way of being, how much they show up in the world, how loving they are, how passionate they are. They're more willing to believe that the good stuff is a lie and the bad stuff is real. And that's how we've been growing in our whole reality. That's what's showing up for us these days. What we're seeing in the world is that, right? How can I not get it right? How can we get it right? We're always getting it wrong. And there is no getting it right. There's also no getting it wrong. Getting it wrong translated is we had a learning experience. We've been learning. So this episode, even though it feels really heady and heavy, it's in a space where you get to understand at the end of this episode that you will have the possibility of knowing that there's no getting it right and there's no getting it wrong. There is no getting it right. There's only getting it. Right? Having it. So as humans, heart-centered humans, which we're all born into, we're coming back to the space where We can utilize our brains to lead us in a direction with the information we've learned up until this moment. Only up until this moment do you know the things you know in your brain. Everything else is a heart-centered knowing, like divinely delivered from the energies of the universe. And so putting those pieces together is what causes us to realize that this journey is the most magnificent world choice we could be into as humans, because we can do all the things and not get it right or wrong, just live in the space of neutrality where we can be joyful on either side. It's a huge, huge step from spending your life in your head thinking you must get it right. And if you don't, you'll get it wrong. Imagine when we were kids, where this could have come from, right? When you're growing up and you're doing all the things and you're having fun and you're running around and you're playing, and suddenly you bang into the table and your mom's favorite vase falls off onto the floor and smashes. You're in instantaneous panic. And the first thing that happens is, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. I messed up. I screwed up. And then you might get in trouble. Maybe you get reprimanded. That was your mom's favorite vase. So she's angry and upset. And now you automatically think, I didn't ever get anything right. Even when I'm running around playing and having fun, I do something wrong and bring myself down. Well, that translates into a program that carries throughout your life that, causes every experience you have to have that flavor of, well, I got to get it right. Because if I don't get it right, I'm going to break something. And if I break something, I'm going to feel disappointed in myself. Right. And that's an extremely heavy pattern to be in when you're the creator of your life and you're experiencing all your experiences based on your way of being. When you carry that program, you're going to see nothing but the proof that that is true. If I play and have fun and be joyful and just be free, I'm going to break something and therefore I will end up disappointed. And so what do? We hold ourselves back. We hold our sweet souls back from experiencing life and being risk takers and being out there and being heartfelt and joy-centered, and risk making a mistake and potentially breaking something, which really, truly is not the way that we humans get to play in the world, of holding ourselves back from that. What if breaking something was exactly what got to happen in order for mom to get a new vase? She may have loved that vase and maybe it carried memories for her, but in replace of that, she had a moment where she realized that the physical thing does not matter, that your beautiful heart does. And that connected space caused her to realize that in the moment that she saw the sadness that entered your face and entered your heart in her disappointment. Maybe we flipped the script on that. We changed the way we see what may have occurred in a moment because of a reaction from someone, right? And receive that that was an experience that happened, and we get to move on from it by asking more questions. What was missing there? What was missing? Right? Or what am I pretending not to know? I'm pretending not to know that my mom really didn't like that. I made up that it was her favorite vase, and when I broke it, she really didn't care, but she might have been on the phone and it scared her and jolted her into thinking that I might have been hurt. And therefore her reaction came from an emotional space of love and care. And I automatically made up that I did something wrong. And I automatically made up that that was mom's favorite vase. And what she might have gotten out of it later was the reality that it didn't really matter. She was just happy that I was okay. So there's so many things. There's no getting it right. But we've decided these things when we were younger, and we're living them out today in a space of adulthood where getting it right seems to be the one thing that we can't do. And it all could have stemmed from one experience where we carried it all the way through. So one of the other questions I love to ask myself in a moment of not getting it right is, what's in the gap? And what I mean by that is, where I'm headed and where I'm at, there's a gap in between. Right? So if I'm looking at my, wanting to generate more clients in my business, and where I'm standing is with a couple clients and I would like more, what's in the gap are more clients. What's missing is more clients. And then I get to pause and realize, oh, what is also missing is my connection to humans, my connection to others, my connection to groups or communities. What's in the gap? Connection. Where am I not being connected? And I could look around and go, you know what, on social media, I really don't reach out to people. Or, I really don't call people that often. I just kind of assume that they don't want to talk to me because they haven't called me or they haven't reached out to me. Or I don't join any social groups because I don't know anybody in there. And I'm not really great at meeting someone new. We make up all these stories about how we're not having what we want and why we're not going to choose it, but we're forgetting it's the one piece that's going to get us where we're headed. So what's in the gap would be connection. And then you would go to the next question was like, how do I create connection? How do you create connection? Right? Reaching out to people you haven't talked to in a long time, remembering all the groups that you used to hang out in, pre-COVID, when you would actually go out for coffee, or you would attend the parent council, or you would go to the library, and you've been going there for 20 years, maybe seeing the people that are there, or at the coffee shop, or potentially the parents in the sports clubs that used to go watch your kids and all the parents would get together. There's many, many ways in which you have been connected that you may have forgotten about. So what's in the gap is being connected and connecting with others and creating a space where that connection can be had. And it's not about getting it right. It's just about having it and getting it. So it all comes back to the same thing. And we always start with our vision. What are we creating? Why are we creating it? Who are we serving in the world? And what problem are we solving for them to make their life easier? And then looking for the spaces where we can make connections with people who could actually be served by this problem-solving gift that we have to sell, right? Maybe it's us as a coach. Maybe it's a program. Maybe it's a software, right? Maybe it's an item. It could be anything, but we get to look at what's in the gap. What are we missing? So examples of all of these things, they come into play when you're looking at your life and you've noticed that day after day, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. You're walking through your days, you have desires and wants and dreams about your business, and it's not actually coming to fruition. And it's day after day that you're noticing the same thing. What do you think happens when you keep thinking, I'm not getting it right? I'm not having this. It's not working. There must be something wrong with me because it works for other people, but it's just not working for me. You begin to slip into a space of forgetting where you came from and why you're creating something in the world for someone else, who you're serving. It becomes all about you and what you're not doing and how you're not getting it right. See how it all comes together? It has this beautiful loop coming right back to the beginning, right back into your vision, why you're creating it, and you get to notice how your distraction pulls you away from what you want. When you start looking at how I'm getting it wrong and how disappointed you are, you start sitting in disappointment, self-pity, wallow, victimhood, and you forget what you really started out with, which is a vision to support someone else with something, right? It's not getting it. There's no getting it right in that. There's only supporting and serving in a way that other people get to grow in their reality. And I'm speaking into coaching and maybe a product here and there, but you can apply this literally anywhere. You can apply it with relationships that you'd like to mend or have or begin or source, right? Or families, maybe your families aren't close together. Those relationships, your families, you get to create those as well. It's the same thing. What's in the gap? What are we missing? Comes down to a lot of times connection, most of the time, and trusting yourself to come from your heart and be in the moment and make those connections matter. Make the other person know that they matter and that the connection's not because you want to sell them something, but you care about where they're at. And if you have something that could serve and support them, that you're going to offer it to them so that they can live their life with more grace and ease. Something can be shifted. They could be supported. So there's a lot into this. And I'm speaking only into one example because it gets chaotic, but really this is one stream of thought. going from one chaotic moment in your head of wanting something and get stuck in the spinning in your brain about what you think you want and where you think you have to be to have it and how you get to do it, but you don't really know, but you're asking for it. And you utilize the tools maybe of manifestation and nothing's really happening. That's where it all starts. If you wake up in that space, imagine the chaos that it propels into your everyday and how easy it is to fall into the trap of not actually getting those things done and really living into your potential from that way. So asking these questions to get clarity is what we're after, and trusting that you're always coming from your heart, then you can never go wrong. So we're going to go into our second commercial break now, and I get to invite you to ask the same questions of yourself. Like, what is my vision? What am I really looking to create in the world? What does that look like? And what do I really want? What do I really, really want? Not what do I think I want? What should I want? What other people think I should have or do or want? But what do I really want? And get clean with that, because what you're going to notice is you probably not asked yourself that, and there's so much swirling in your head that's creating that confusion, that the clarity in knowing what you want is going to create this straight line forward into possibility, not right or wrong. So let's walk into this break. You're listening to the Crossroads to Awakening show on the Inspired Choices Network, the most beautiful place to be inspired. And I'm Wendy Paquette, and I'm right here with you. So we'll see you after this short break.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is the Crossroads to Awakening show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now back to the program.
Okay, so did you ask yourself what you really want? Is that a hard question to ask? I would hazard a guess that most humans have a really tough time getting it. Really getting that they matter and what they want is the number one piece that propels them into possibility, that actually lands those opportunities in front of you because you're clear on what you want. So it starts from your vision. What are you looking to create in the world? And I get to repeat it over and over until you hear it for yourself, to sort the getting it right piece so that you can see it's not about getting it right and making yourself wrong for whatever it is you're up to. It's about landing in the clarity so that when you speak into it, you don't care how many people you speak to. You don't care how many people say, no, they don't want that. It doesn't hurt you because you know where you're coming from, which is your heart. You know what you're creating in the world and what's truly possible for anyone who has that gap in their world, that you can solve their problem and make their life greater. That comes from just creating connections and listening to people and landing what you're wanting. So these questions are all for you to ask yourself so you can get really in ownership of where you're headed. These questions are not only for business, as what I use as an example, your relationships, your family, your work, right? Your coworkers, all those places, even your employees. These are questions that when you lean into them, you'll see where you're confused. You will see your confusion show up immediately. Because the first question of what do I really want or what's my vision will be in confusion, because you will sit there pondering, oh my goodness, do I really know this? Right? That clarity right out of the gate could solve everything in your world and take the right or wrongness out of your judging yourself for not having it and put you on your straight and narrow path to your vision and your dreams, whatever those are for you. So there are a couple more questions that I ask myself, and they all lead to the same space. They all open up spaces where you can access information that resides within yourself that maybe you haven't quite asked yourself in order to get clarity. And the next question is, what else? So when I ask myself, what do I want? And I lean into that, and I might have been a bit vague with myself. Well, I want more clients. Well, that's great. And why do you want more clients? Like, and what else? What else about having more clients will shift the way you be in the world? Is it just about money? Because we all know how that goes. It goes nowhere. Because money is only a thing. It is a response to a service, right? If you don't have a service and a mission underneath a service or a cause or a why, then how can they connect to anything else except for the fact that you're just attempting to generate money for yourself? That's what they'll connect to. You just want to make money. They'll energetically pick that up, and therefore they'll be like, no, I'm not giving you my money. That's why would I want that? They're already not even seeing the value in what you're up to because you're not seeing the value in what you're up to. So clarity is a vital, vital piece of living this reality in your dreams, like having them be your dream, be your reality, and you're living it, you're being it, it's becoming you. So the what else question is what you ask after you've landed in, what do I really want? Right? Well, I would like more clients. Okay, what else? And what else would you like? Well, I would like to support those clients into having the life of their dreams. Great. And what else? Well, I would love to be able to have that be what I'm known for, right? I really would like to, have that be what I'm known for. Wow. Okay, great. And what else? Well, I kind of like to be known for that because I have a book that's inside of me. And I'd like to deliver that book to the world. So I get to be that person in the space where I deliver my message to the world and my audience grows. And I have some clients, yes, but now I actually have a bit more influence because what I'm up to is big. Oh, it's big. And what else? Well, it is big because how I see the world is a direct reflection of the programs that are in your mind. And if you're the creator of your reality, which you are, then solving the things that aren't working are easy. Wow. Right? And what else? We weren't even there when we began, but by asking the question, and what else? We were able to gain the type of clarity that connects to a why that's far greater than just generating more money to pay my bills. Right? So is everybody on the same page? Is everybody seeing where this is going and how getting the clarity that you're after to see that there's no getting it right? There's only getting it, that you can actually have it. It just requires a little time and effort with you. So real quality one-on-one time, you with you. I mean, you can invite someone else in to support you with this, but if you could solve your own blocks, wouldn't you want to? You could do that at any time of the day or the evening or the morning or anywhere you were in the world. You could be on vacation. You could be anywhere because, you've got your own back. You can solve a lot of your own curiosities and questions. And if clarity is what you're after, then asking questions is your solution. So you can certainly solve those solutions and get into your vision, get into the clarity of what you're providing for the world by asking yourself some of these beautiful, brilliant questions and landing on your own answers with clarity and understanding, and then leaning into what you can have in your world. There's no right or wrong in that. There's only clarity and possibility. That changes the game, right? That changes your way of what you'd say, like winning. I'm air quoting, winning in your world, because now you're having whatever you want and you know why you're having it and you know who you're going to serve and why. And you can get clarity on that further when you dive into your business, but you certainly can speak about it to someone else knowing there's no getting it right. They don't know what it looks like until you tell them. And so there's no getting it right. It's only just getting it. Having it. It's a beautiful place to be. It relieves your heart and your mind from the space of getting it wrong and feeling disappointed, right? And looking bad in front of someone else, because it's not possible when you have your vision, you know what you're up to in the world, and you're clear about where you're headed with it. So the last question I always ask myself is, and it's the reiteration of, what do I really want? I know earlier I said, what do I want? Like, ask yourself, what do I want? And that's a great question. After a bit, you can ask yourself now, what do I really want? After I've gotten a little more clarity and a little more understanding into where I'm going with this, and that I'm coming from my heart and I understand what I would like to do, then I get to lean right into like, now, what do I really want? Right? What do I really want? Well, you know what I really, really want? I want to be able to be so joyful that when I go meet my friends, I just get to enjoy them. I just get to enjoy them. And what that looks like for me is I don't have any money worries. I don't have any struggles in my reality. I'm clear on what I'm after, and I know that it's going to happen because I have my own back. I know where I get to go. I know if I get to source someone to support me, I can do that because I know what my vision is. I know what I'd like to create in the world. I know why I would like to create it. I know who I would like to support with it. Now I have direction, I have possibility, I have alignment, and I have a path. Whatever that looks like, I have a path, and that's what most of us are after. They seek clarity with some kind of instructions, but you're the writer of your life. So you're the one who gets to create that pathway for yourself, and asking questions causes that clarity and a pathway to exist. And there's nothing to say that a mentor or a coach that could support you in doing exactly what you're up to couldn't land right in front of you and show you the way. But they can't land in front of you if you don't know why or what you're up to, right? Having a business is one thing, but being clear on what you're serving to the world and what solutions you're solving, that's the magic in all of this. So I would love to invite you into that space of listening to this over and over, asking yourself these questions in order to gain clarity into where you're headed. Because we're coming into the months now, we're into December, we're coming into the new year. 2021 is going to be magical. The mere vibration of 2021 is going to change the way we see our world and others. And having that clarity moving into 2021 is going to allow us to land on the first day of January with joy, and the pathway in front of us with clarity, with knowing where we're headed and why, so that we can hit the ground running, even if it's in a relaxed pace, a peaceful pace. We get to create the world that we're after based on what we want, right? When you know what you want, it's easy to share that with others. And what if your clarity causes clarity in those around you? That is the most magical gift you can give someone, is the gift of their own clarity by you being clear. And you'll see that some of the people in your world carry the same rackets that you do of confusion. I don't really know how to do that. They get stuck in this cycle of, like, it looks like going in a circle over and over and over, repeating the same thing. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know where to go. I don't know why I'm not making any money. I don't know, right? Is a state of confusion. That's a choice. It's absolutely a choice. So this is of vital importance. If you would like to walk into 2021 with clarity and vision and set yourself up to see the path in front of you, no one needs to put it there for you. That's something that a person who lives in the right or wrong of someone else knows better than I do. You get to know where you're headed, and you're the one who gets to source the information from you. And that's not saying you can't lean out for support and totally be mentored or coached by someone who's been there before you, but you get to be in ownership of your life, in ownership of your dreams, of your vision, of your path, of what it gets to look like. And there's no right or wrong in that. There's no getting it right at all. That's the magic of this episode. The what about getting it right? That's the fallacy that we all have lived by up until now, right? If you look at someone that's running your country and you say, well, he's not getting it right, he's not doing it right. Those are the perceptions that you're putting on yourself as well. If you're saying it about someone else, if you hear it come out of your mouth, it means you're also saying it to yourself. And so that gets to be a high awareness where you know, oh, goodness, I'm judging me. I'm limiting me. I'm stifling, stifling me. And I get to shift that into a new way of being. And that's where we get to go in for 2021 with clarity and vision. And I'm so, so excited for that. So we're going to walk into the final break. We get to lean back into again. What do now I really, really want? What do I really want? And you don't think there's a difference between what do I want and what do I really want? Then ask yourself that question and see for yourself. Notice what comes up for you. So while we're on this break, lean in. You're listening to the Crossroads to Awakening show. And when we come back, we're going to button it all up with a beautiful gift to ourselves and a short, quick landing inside of our self-connection to ourselves and what we can create for others so that you can move through the rest of this week with clarity from today, from this moment. We'll see you in a short minute.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is the Crossroads to Awakening show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now back to the program.
Okay, so did you test it out? Did you ask, what do I want? And then over, what do I really want? There's just something about that extra word that causes you to dig a little deeper. You can almost feel it going in and just goes a little bit deeper to give yourself the opportunity to see, oh, what do I really want? Right? What could that look like? And allow yourself to just let it come out of your face. Just because you let it come out doesn't mean you have to like totally buy it or choose it or whatever, but you just get to let it out. Because sometimes I've found when I've worked with others, they have said things that they had never, ever expected. And it turned out to be one of the most beautiful gifts they ever gave themselves. They didn't even know some things were hiding in there. Deep, deep, deep in the what do I really want? Access is something that's a true, deep desire for your life, a true, deep wanting dream or vision. So allow yourself to go there and make it fun. Bounce around, turn some music on. Ask yourself, you can turn music on and bounce around your house saying, what do I really want? What do I really want? And then asking yourself or answering that question. So you're like, what do I really want? I really want a house on the water with a pool. I do want a house on the water and a pool. Like something weird will come out of your mouth and you'll get clean on what you're hiding from yourself. So all those questions we were asking earlier, but what am I pretending not to know, is actually going to reveal to you all the things that you're pretending not to know. What do you really truly want, and why you haven't got them yet? Those are the places we get to go next. We get to lean in next to, what are those things that I've been hiding from myself that I haven't allowed myself to have so that I could live joyfully now? And so it can be a fun game with yourself. My invitation to you is play it. This is the one life that you get. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. So if you knew that, then wouldn't you want to play all out now? Falling and scraping your knee will cause the knee to heal and you to have the most fun you've ever had, running through the field with your arms in the air, yelling, what do I really want? What do I really want? That piece of joy. Just imagine yourself doing that. It creates so much bliss, so much fun. It pulls you back into when you were a kid and you didn't know what you know now, which is life has all kinds of crazy in front of you. And that you're going to pull yourself into the tight, limited spaces of your mind, of your brain, and hold yourself there like a prisoner. So that's the invitation. from now moving forward is to be in the space of childlike curiosity and asking yourself these questions in order to support you into getting the things that you'd like, setting yourself up for success moving into 2021, and actualizing all the things that you haven't allowed yourself to know. And walk through these questions with yourself. Be honest, be true. You're not lying to anyone but yourself. And how unproductive that would be, right? How real and true you can notice yourself being when you lie to yourself about what you really, really want. You're only taking it from you, and you're leaving out the people in your world from experiencing you truly, fully, blissfully happy. The only person standing in your way is you. That's the only person. If you're pointing the finger at someone else, you are choosing victim. You're choosing victim. You're choosing victimhood and being a victim. The only person in your way is you in every circumstance. And once you allow yourself to know that, it opens the gateway to what do you really want? Because now when you get to move yourself aside and have it, it's 100% possible because you're the only one standing in the way. So once you're out of the way, guess what? It's yours to have. And that is what is about getting it. So it's not about getting it right. It's about getting it. And it is you, getting you, having access to the true you that lives there, having access to the love and the joy that you're holding from yourself. Because all along, you've been telling yourself you're not getting it right because it doesn't look the way you think it should look. It doesn't feel the way you think it should feel. And in actuality, that's just a story. Just a story you tell yourself until it stops, until you don't, until you ask yourself, what do I really want? And you imagine yourself having it. And so what you get to do is take a moment and close your eyes and imagine yourself as a young little girl or boy running through a field with really long grass and nothing in the way, and no trees to stop you up. Just this beautiful smell of fresh flowers that are just strewn about. And it's a beautiful, sunny, gorgeous day with the wind blowing. And your arms are in the air and you're running like the wind. And you're just blissfully happy, yelling, what do I want? What do I really, really want? And then you're screaming out the answers, letting your soul free out of your face. And you keep going until all the things that you want are present to you now. And then you can open your eyes and you can take those with joy and bliss, write them down and make them so. Or disregard them. It's so up to you. But when your soul speaks, you get to listen because it's not about getting it right. It's just about getting it, and it is you. So that is my invitation from this episode today, is getting out of the space of your head that's chaotic and messy and getting clarity for yourself, for your heart, for your soul, and loving who you be. And asking yourself those beautiful questions so that we can all have the greatest parts of you that are joyful here. We can share in this life with you. Everyone gets to get more of you, and who wouldn't want that? So moving forward, we'll see you in the coming episodes where we get to dive into all the fun things that come up before 2021 lands in our lap and we get to hit the ground running, not with resolutions for ourselves, but with possibilities in dreaming into our lives and not getting it right or wrong, but getting it and getting you and having you and holding you in your own heart and letting that heart explode out into the world into joy and bliss and possibility and success, whatever success means for you, and actualizing those beautiful things that are possible for you in every moment. So that this world that you're living, it matters and you matter. And at the end of the day, at the end of your life, you have no regrets. And you may have a skinned knee and a scar to show for it, but you have no regrets and a blissful, well-lived life. So we will see you on the other side. My name is Wendy Paquette, and you can find me anywhere on social media. Let's talk about this. Let's do this. We'll see you next week. Have a beautiful, blissful day, rest of your week, and rest of your life. See you on the other side.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey and we'll meet you at the crossroads.